From that we can find out what is the effective current which we can have. So in the regulator performance, mainly we concentrate on the ratio of the output ripple voltage to the input ripple voltage. That means if input voltage is changing, how the output voltage will change. That is what we are going to mainly concentrate here. Okay. So for that, as you know, this circuit resistance, Zener diode, load resistance, RS. So this circuit we are having. So this circuit can be equated to, for in the first instance, we just ignore RL. See, when you ignore RL, how will be RS and Zener diode? And let us take the resistance offered is ZZR, Zener resistance. Okay, you can tell it as an impedance or resistance. Both are same. So when it comes to Zener diode, we tell it as impedance ZZR. So when you ignore this load resistance, can you tell me how this RS and this ZZR will be? Whether they will be series or parallel?
Series.
Series, sir.
Yes, they will be in series. So first we'll write. So we'll try to analyze step by step so that you can understand how we have written the circuit. So first ignore this RL, just write down RS and this is ZZR, and you know that across this only we'll be having the output voltage, because RL and VZ, they are parallel to each other, means obviously the voltage across RL will be equal to voltage across Zener diode. So we write it as delta V naught. Any changes that happens across Zener diode, that will be the change which occur across the load resistance. Now we will add this resistor, load resistance, which we have ignored. Now you consider it. So when you consider it, can you tell me where actually you are going to attach this RL? If you want to attach to this circuit, where you are attaching RL?
Parallel to ZZR.
Yes. So we are going to add it parallel to ZZR. So this is RL and this is RS and this is delta V in. Here also it is delta V in. Now this is the regulator simplified circuit without load resistance. This is with load resistance. So now, in order to find in electronics, we have a separate domain called network theory, or subject called network theory. So in network theory, we have many theorems related to the circuits. So one among that is voltage divider rule, and also we have one more theorem, Thevenin's theorem. So these are the two things which we are going to use here. So voltage divider rule is going to tell the voltage across a particular branch. If you have two or three branch, and if you want to find out voltage across a particular branch, if you see this is one branch, this is one branch, this is one branch. Now you want to find out the voltage across a particular branch. I just want to find out what is the voltage across ZZR. Then you need to use voltage divider rule. It is going to tell what is the voltage across that particular branch. That is the use of voltage divider rule. I'll tell the formula for that. Next is Thevenin's theorem. So Thevenin's theorem is a theorem which is used to reduce the complex circuit into simplified form. It is, if you are having circuits like this, n number of circuits you'll have, and you'll have like this. Okay, you have a battery and you have all this resistance. This circuit will be reduced it into a simplest form like this. So what the Thevenin theorem states that is a complex circuit can be reduced into its simplest form by finding out the effective values. You see, all these are parallel to each other. By knowing the parallel combination of these resistors, you will be coming to know what is the effective resistance. After combining all of them, if it is capable of giving 10 kilo ohm effect, then just connect 10 kilo ohm. It is done. Whatever all these resistors are going to give, the same effect a single resistance can give. So this transformation is given by Thevenin's theorem. I'll repeat it again. Thevenin's theorem tells that or states that a complex circuit can be reduced to its simplest form by finding out the effective values. So effective values in the sense the total effect what this five resistors are going to give, that effect can be given by a single resistance. So in order to replace that, what we need to do, we have to simplify the circuit by using parallel combination formula and all. You know, R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. In the same way, since it is four resistors are first parallel, what you need to do first, find out the parallel combination of this. Then you'll get one resistor and these two resistance becomes in series. So that is the process which we are having. Okay. Now coming to the voltage divider rule, here can you tell me who is going to be the decider in this circuit? Who is going to be the decider of the output voltage in this circuit? We have three resistors. Who is going to be the decider of the output voltage?
Load resistance.
Load resistance. Okay. Any other? Anybody? Hmm? All these days I have told something.
Zener, sir.
Why Zener? Why Zener? Your friend told RL. Why Zener?
So there are so many tests.
See, Zener is the correct answer because the output voltage is maintained constant based upon the selection of the Zener diode, based upon the breakdown voltage. If you want 5 volt, we will select 5 volt breakdown Zener diode, right? So Zener diode is the main component which is going to maintain the output voltage constant, even though we get the output across RL, but since it is just going to follow the Zener diode because of its parallel combination, it is just going to follow the Zener diode. So that's why we need to consider the Zener diode resistance to find the output voltage. So delta V naught is equal to, okay, first we'll write the formula. So voltage across a branch. So just write down this formula because I have given directly the formula. So, but in order to understand it, how we have written, you can write these wordings. is equal to main supply voltage into resistance where voltage needs to be found by total resistance in that circuit. This is the formula. If you remember this formula, you can apply voltage divider rule to any circuits given. You will be not having any doubts. Just you have to substitute. Okay. Now, as I have given the formula, can anyone tell me the equation based using this formula?
VO is equal to V
Yeah,
in
you just
into
tell me. Yeah, you just tell me why VO.
voltage across a branch. We have to find V output, right, sir?
Yes, correct. Okay.
V output
V,
into, so V output is equal to V in into ZZR divided by ZZR plus RS.
yes, ZZR plus RS.
RS.
Because here we are having the total resistance is RS plus ZZR. And where we want to find the voltage, we want to find the voltage across this. And which is the input supply? This is the input supply. If the input supply is varying, put delta. So obviously when input supply is fluctuating, there will be some small change in the output voltage also. Now this is the equation with respect to this circuit. Now when you are going to apply the same equation to this circuit, what will be the change that you can observe? What is the change that has happened here?
RL is parallel
To ZZR, right? The only change what you need to do is same for the same formula. Instead of considering only ZZR, since RL is also parallel, you need to take ZZR parallel to RL divided by RS plus ZZR parallel RL. That's it. Then this is the formula. Okay. So here, whatever the voltage you are having across this will be same as whatever the voltage across this, because parallel branches will have same voltage. That is the concept we have used here. After this, we will try to write it in terms of ripple values. So ripple means, as already you know, it is just the change, or it's just the fluctuation that's gonna happen in the circuit. So can I write delta V naught as VRO? VR indicates ripple voltage, O indicates output. Can I write it as VRO, output ripple voltage, or can I, in other way I can ask you, delta V naught can be called as output ripple voltage? Can it be called as output ripple voltage? Since it is having delta, what does this delta indicate?
Change.
Change. When you will be having change? If you are having DC, you will be having any change? If you have a perfect DC, will you have any change?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
So delta V naught indicates that there is some amount of fluctuation. This fluctuation indicates some amount of AC is present. That's why we tell V R naught, V ripple output voltage, and this delta V naught will shift it here. And delta V in we are going to shift here, and this delta V in, again it is having delta. Delta indicates that it is change in input voltage. So change indicates ripple. So that's why we are writing it as VRI, ripple input voltage, ripple input voltage, ripple output voltage. Okay. Now just write down remaining things. ZZR, by ZZR plus RS. This is without RL. If you are going to consider RL, then the same equation becomes VRO by VRI, that is equal to ZZR parallel RL divided by ZZR parallel RL plus RS. This is with RL. So this is how we can find out the ripple factor even in the voltage regulator. Even after doing all this series of steps also, we can observe there is still this variation. Okay. Now, after this is with respect to the voltage divider rule. Now, the next part, what we are going to discuss is with respect to the Thevenin's equivalent circuit. Okay. So first we'll write the first part, that is RS, ZZR, and we have RL. RS, ZZR, RL. So this is where we give the input. So this will be getting converted. So now can I write this as this way? Is there any change between this circuit and this circuit? Are they same or different?
Same.
Same, right? Instead of having this L shape, I have just written it in straight line. Okay. Now, in the next part, what I do is I'll apply Thevenin's theorem. As I told Thevenin's theorem, it is going to combine the n number of resistance to give an effective values, or it is going to reduce the complex circuit into its simplest form to give the effective values. When you are going to find effective resistance, you should remember one thing: effective resistance using Thevenin's theorem. The steps what we need to follow is, first we need to, okay, let us first write it ZZR, RL and RS. Now, so when you want to find effective resistance, first you need to short circuit. You should remove the supply and you need to short circuit it. When you are finding resistance, no voltage source should be present there. And across this only, you are going to find the output voltage. Now, can I take these two as parallel? Are they parallel, first of all? Are they parallel?
Yes, sir.
They're parallel. And one more thing, when you consider the Zener resistance and load resistance, which will be maximum among these two?
Load resistance.
Load resistance, right? What will happen in parallel combination of resistance? I had told some in other class also, whenever we take parallel combination, the least resistance will be the what? Effective resistance. When you take series, opposite. Maximum resistance will be effective resistance. Okay, let us understand by taking an example. There are two resistors Okay, first we'll write parallel formula. So one is 1 kilo ohm and the other one is 1000 kilo ohm. Okay, so 1 kilo ohm plus 1000 kilo ohm. Now, approximately, can we cancel this and this? On an average, can we cancel this too? 1000 by 1001, how much you'll get?
0.99.
Hmm? 0.
0.99, sir.
0.99, right? So 0.99 kilo ohm. Is it almost equal to 1 kilo ohm?
Yes, sir.
So from this, what you understood?
For parallel, we have to take the least resistance.
Yes. So in parallel combination, least resistance will be the effective resistance. But the same thing, if you take in series combination, it will be 1000 kilo ohm plus 1 kilo ohm. It will be 1001 kilo ohm, right? So in parallel, 1001 kilo ohm, is it near to 1 kilo ohm or 1000 kilo ohm?
Thousands.
1000
1000.
kilo.
So this indicates that the maximum value will be the effective resistance in series combination and minimum value will be the effective resistance in parallel combination. From this, what we can do is we can just ignore the load resistance value and we can write the circuit. So now the circuit becomes, in the next step, the circuit becomes ZZR. That's why I have just written ZZR. And this is our output resistance. Whatever remaining part we simplify now, that will be our output resistance. Okay. So we have written ZZR because RL is the effective resistance, total effective resistance obtained by parallel combination of these two is ZZR. That's why we are writing ZZR. This could be further simplified. Now, how these two are? Are they in series or are they in parallel?
Series.
Series. Okay. Can I write the same thing like this? This one? Can I shift it here and write like this? Are the circuit same? This circuit and this circuit are the same or different?
Different, sir.
Different. Why? See, this
Sir,
connection is also connected here only. This connection is connected here. See, this connection also connected here. This connection is also connected here.
but second one is parallel, right, sir?
This also is, see, first, I'm just asking this and this. Instead of having this one, I have just shifted it here. But the connection is same, no? This is connected here only, to this node only. So this is also connected to this node only. This terminal is connected to this node only. This connect is connected to this node only. I have
But,
just
potentiality, sir, here second one in the positive sign is connected to positive side of the ZZR only. Negative side of the RS is connected to ZZR. But in this first condition, negative side, let us take the negative side, sir. RS connected to positive side of ZZR. Then negative side of RS is connected to sorry, positive side of RS is connected to negative side of ZZR.
see, this is minus plus you're talking about, and first of all, we are talking about resistance. The resistance doesn't have polarity, right? It doesn't
Yes,
have
sir.
polarity. There is no positive negative signs in. We are just talking about the resistance value. So just tell me now. So this point, okay, I'll mark A, B, C, D. A is connected to C through this node. Okay, here also I'll mark C, D, A, B. See, A is connected to C through this point. See here what is happening. A is connected to C through this point. Now, B. B is connected to D through this point. Now, see here. B is connected to D through this point. I'm trying to give the clarity. Now tell me whether they are in series or they are in parallel or they are same or different. Nobody. How they are? They are parallel or series?
So both are same and both are in parallel.
Yes, both are same and both are parallel. Okay. Now this one we are going to simplify it into this way. ZZR parallel to RS. So this is our total effective resistance. See, this is the way Thevenin's theorem is applied, and you can see that how many resistance we had and how much resistance we have. So we had 3 resistors, and whatever the effect these 3 resistors are giving, the single resistor will replace all that effect. That means this single resistance is going to give the same effect as that of 3 resistors. By doing this one, we came to know what is the total effective resistance. Now by Ohm's law, we have V is equal to I into R. Our intention is to find out output voltage. So make this as output voltage. And output voltage means obviously it will be having current which is flowing through the load. So make it as RL. And from this all these steps, we came to know the effective resistance. So effective resistance is RS parallel to ZZR. And is there any fluctuation in the circuit? Yes, there is some fluctuation. There will be some small change. This small change happens to which all? It happens to because of change in IL. So we'll have change in delta V naught. So this is the formula for the change in output voltage when there is change in load current. Okay, so by finding out this, by solving all these steps, we are going to find the performance of the regulator. So when you are going to find out delta V naught, it is going to tell that this is the amount of change or variation it is going to have. Okay. After this, we have the last topic. We'll finish off that and then we can solve the problems. Anybody is having any doubts in this? The next, fixed IC regulators. So fixed IC regulators means IC means integrated circuit. Integrated circuit means they are going to combine multiple number of components into a small sized chip. That's why it is known as integrated chip. Integration means always we are going to combine many things together. That's why it is known as integrated chip, IC. So this circuit, whatever we have studied till now, voltage divider circuit, that can be replaced by a single IC. So that single IC is going to act as a regulator. So if required, we can have some more components to make it more advanced. But the single IC can itself that itself can act as a voltage regulator, and it can do the same task what our Zener diode, resistor, all those things were doing. No, the same task even this will also be doing. It doesn't mean that it will not have a Zener diode. It will be having a Zener diode, but it will be in a very small size. Very small size. It will be integrated. We call it will be in terms of nanoscale or micro scale. So as of now, as we are having trend, we are in nano range. We are in the nanoscale. So still the technology is coming with respect to the picoscale. So picoscale, if picoscale will come into existence, even the IC size will be very tiny, and we can have more advanced components, and the weight of the components will also still decrease. Just for your interest, I'm just telling. See, we are in the electronics field is in such a way that so they are going to embed a small IC over this housefly. Have you heard about this? Just for the housefly on the mosquitoes, they're embedding the ICs. That is the technology we are having. This is happening in the defense. And even this ICs, no, they are not only having the circuitry, they're having a controller, they're having a small camera there. So because if you know that usually they'll tie some camera or some sensors to these birds, and they'll allow the birds to fly across the border. And many of the times in news and in the newspapers and all, you have seen that in India-Pakistan border there was a eagle flying, so it was tied with a camera or some thing. It was tied. So they tell that it is just the activity which is done by the other military force to know what is happening across the border and how many of them are there, like this. So now the technology they are working is, instead if you are going to send this birds and all, no, it can be easily detected in the cameras and in the radars and all. It can be easily detected. So that's why what they're doing is they're trying to embed a small IC with a camera, with a controller on an housefly, on a mosquito, or in a honeybee, and they're going to fly it across the border, and wherever it goes, it captures all the video, and that will be relayed to the center. So that is the technology we are having because of the integration of the circuits. So that's why the R&D field is booming like anything. Okay, so that's just for your understanding or curiosity I just told. Coming to IC regulator, we are having basically three types of regulator we are having. The one is fixed voltage regulator, and the other one is adjustable voltage regulator, and the other one is switching regulator. So these are the three types of regulators are the classified, or the different types of regulators that are there. Mainly IC regulators are having more importance because of its reduction in size, and it can be produced mass in mass, because ICs are produced in mass production, and you know that ICs are very cheap. If you take just for your knowledge, if you take a Zener diode, it is 20 rupees. Okay, if you take an voltage IC regulator IC, it is 10 rupees. Just imagine that IC is having Zener diode inside it. But if you take individual component, it is costly. But if you take IC, it is cheap, because of the bulk production. When you produce the components in a mass, so automatically cost will reduce. And you might have heard this Chinese electronic goods. They are so many of the chips ICs are sold in terms of kgs, and those are bought here, and they'll be again packing it into a single component, and they are going to sell it in as single number, but they have bought it in terms of kgs, in terms of how many, this much amount of kg ICs, this much amount of price, like that. But for us, they are going to sell it into a single piece. So this is what the advantage we can see in bulk production. And also you'll be, since you're just using a single IC chip, you might have seen this kind of IC, since it is everything is inside it, so there is no worries about short circuit and all. Because if you connect our circuit, what you have seen in voltage divider, voltage regulator, you can see that you need to connect a wire, all those things you need to do. But here everything is embedded inside it, so there is no question of wires, unnecessary wires, and making it in bulk size. Those are things can be avoided. And the thermal shutdown, so this can be designed in such a way that whenever a particular heat is reached or particular thermal level is reached, automatically it is going to turn off. That can also be done. Because of this, all these advantages, fixed IC regulators are having more advantage. So for your syllabus, we are having a 78XX series IC for your syllabus, and yeah, we are just going to study one or two of it. 78XX series fixed IC regulators. So basically 78 indicates, see, number whatever they were giving, no, for that there is a meaning for it. 78 indicates that this series of ICs, whatever we are getting, they are going to give only positive output voltage. It will be +5, +10, +6, anything is positive output voltage. It will not give negative output voltage. This XX indicates the how much voltage that IC can give. If you are using suppose 7805, this indicates that it is going to give, this IC is going to give 5 volt output. It regulates 5 volts. So whatever the fluctuation might happen, it gives output as 5 volt. If it is 7807, that indicates positive voltage and it gives 7 volts at the output. That is the meaning. Coming to the basic block diagram of the regulator IC, we are having a pass transistor, V out plus V out. This is V in. This is V reference, R1, R2. This is a common point, or it might be a ground. Here you'll be having thermal, shunt, and current limiting circuit. and this is given out to be here. And this is the op amp, which we'll be studying in the next module. Op amp, operational amplifier, we are going to use. And the op amp, what we are using is a comparator. It is acting like a comparator. It is keep on comparing. So this block diagram, it is an advanced version of voltage regulator. It is not only making, it is not only for the controlling the output voltage, it is also limiting the flow of current. Here what they usually do is, to this op amp, operational amplifier, there are two terminals, negative and positive terminal. We call this as inverting terminal, we call this as non-inverting terminal. To the non-inverting terminal, they will give the reference voltage. Reference voltage means what voltage you actually need at the output. You want 5 volt, then they'll connect 5 volt here. 5 volt reference supply, they'll connect. And now they will pass the input here and they'll connect it to the input voltage. And input voltage will be, and current will be flowing through this. We are having a pass transistor in the sense, it is the transistor which is going to pass the current through it. So this pass transistor will be of BJT, bipolar junction transistor, which we are going to study later. So base, collector, emitter. These are the three terminals of the transistor. There is a lot of things to be told about transistor, but there is a separate chapter we can discuss during that time. Just as of now, whatever is required now, we can just discuss. So here we call it as a thermal shunt and current limiting because it is connected parallel to the flow of current. So this circuit is connected parallel to the flow of current. Here what happens is, suppose the output is now increasing or it is above the required level. During that time, that voltage will be appearing across this also, because these two resistors are connected parallel to this. So the same voltage plus V0 will be appearing across this particular node, and this voltage is connected to the negative terminal of the op amp. This op amp is going to compare this incoming voltage at the negative terminal with respect to the voltage which is at the positive terminal. If this negative terminal voltage is greater than the positive terminal voltage, then it is going to give an output with respect to negative signal. When a negative signal is given, negative signal indicates that the current which is being passed through the transistor, that has to be limited. So during that time, what happens is, the current which was flowing through this transistor to the output side will be driven by this circuit. Some amount of current will be driven by this circuit, so that the less amount of current will be flowing towards the output. So some of the current will be driven to the circuit. So here in the thermal shunt and current limiting, you are having a lot of circuits that is not required for you, since you need to just study the block diagram, because for this you need to have some two transistors, one diode, and all will come. So that will simply confuse you. Just remember that when this thermal shunt, which is connected parallel to the pass transistor, and the current limiting circuit, which is connected parallel to the pass transistor, is going to drive some current towards it, such that the current which is moving outwards will be reduced. Now, since the output, the current which is moving towards the output is reduced, automatically the voltage start reducing. And when the voltage across this is reduced, let us assume that it is reducing below the required value, then automatically what happens, this voltage across the negative terminal will be lesser compared to the positive terminal. When positive terminal voltage is greater, it is going to give positive voltage. When it gives a positive voltage, that indicates it should not drive more current. So now it will not drive the current, and more amount of current will be flowing out towards the output. So this process will be keep on happening until until this V out will be equal to V reference. When V out is equal to V reference, during that time, this two are going to be subtracted and output is given to be 0. When output is given to be 0 volt, then this circuit will be off. When this circuit is off, then the current will be flowing towards the output. So this is the process how actually it is going to work. Coming to the last topic, what we are having is a small 7805 IC we are going to study. That is the only IC which we are having in our syllabus. 7805 series fixed IC voltage regulator. So this is an IC 7805. As I told, 78 indicates it is going to give always positive output. And this is the input. And we are having the ground. Between the input and the output, we are going to connect a capacitor. These two are known as the coupling capacitor. Coupling capacitor. So as we have already discussed, capacitor is going to block DC and allow AC. So now if some fluctuated signal is coming here, what does it mean? Signal is having fluctuation means what does it mean? Is it a pure DC or AC or both AC and DC?
Both AC and DC.
This indicates that it is having both AC and DC. Okay, so that's why when this signal comes at this point, the AC will be going through this and it will reach the ground. But since capacitance offers highest resistance for DC, what happens? That DC will move towards 7805. It will not move towards the capacitor because for that it is going to offer more resistance. Capacitance act like open circuit for DC, no? That's why the DC current will flow like this. Since for AC current it is going to offer least resistance, the entire AC will go to the ground. So we'll be having DC here and it will be giving out 5 volt output. Even after that, if there is some fluctuation because of some reason, so because of some AC current by chance might have escaped from this capacitor and it has entered here, we have one more chance to filter here. We are having one more coupling capacitor here also because we take the output parallelly, right? We take the output parallelly. So we will be, this is also parallel. If you take the output here, that is also parallel here. So here also it is going to filter out the AC signal and only the DC is been given. So this is how 7805 IC works. 78 indicates it is positive output voltage. XX indicate how much voltage it can give. This 05 indicates this IC is going to give 5 volt output with any variation in the input. It might go to 10 volt also. Input might go to 10 volt, but this is going to give only 5 volt. Okay, so this is about this particular chapter. So we are done with this chapter. So we have some problems, so we can solve that problems and we can go to the next module.